Welcome back. With the release of Champion Point 2.0, I wanted to share some basic Champion Point experience point grinding tips and tricks after leveling about 300,000 characters. I'll briefly share a newer grind spot that has epic returns as well, and I'm not talking Skyreach. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, turn alerts on, and consider clicking that join button so I can produce more Elder Scrolls Online content. So first we need to cover what has changed. These are the patch notes for update 29, where they break down in detail the Champion Point changes. I'm going to put a link in the description in case you're interested. Two things to cover. They've lifted the cap. Now you can get 3,600 in total. But the most important aspect of this change, we've adjusted the rate at which you gain CP to accommodate for the cap lift. So I was right around 1,300 Champion Points, requiring me 1 million plus to get 1 CP. Now I'm at 300,000 experience to get 1 CP, making it much faster. There's also something in-game that changed as well that might help you. Something else that's changed in-game, I just zoned into a random dungeon here that was close by, but I want to draw your attention to the group screen. There'll be a new key, T, leave instance. So Zos must have knew we'd be grinding, but they added this function so that way you can quickly leave, regroup, get back in there. If you don't know, when you leave the instance, you need to change it from veteran to normal and back again, or vice versa to reset the dungeon. Next up we have experience point boost, ways to augment the amount of experience points you gain. A couple simple methods here are using drinks and or crown experience scrolls. There's 3 different kinds of drinks, 50%, 100%, and 150. For me, the 100% experience boost really hits the mark because it's not as expensive as 150, but it gives a nice boost over 50%. Additionally, when you're running these, definitely make sure to pop one right before a major quest turn-in or going out to do a dungeon, because those mob kills that we never really valued before will really add up. Some other ways you can get experience point boost: being an ESO Plus member, that's a 10% right there, flat rate. Being in a group, that's another 10%. Another 10% is Pledge of Mara, getting married to another player in game. What you do is purchase this, go with your buddy to the attribute / skill point area, and there's a little shrine there where you can use this scroll in your inventory to get married. You'll immediately be granted a ring that if you both wear at the same time, you get another 10%. And then just being in a group, that's another 10%. Just keep in mind the drinks do not stack, so you can't do 50, 100, and 150 all at once. It's 1 drink per boost. There's even more ways to do that, so let's craft some gear. The training trait is a fantastic way to boost this experience gain. You don't have to gold this out. It's really just 1% less per quality level, so even if you get white, green, blue, purple, it's going to make a huge difference on 7 slots. So what gear should you run? A couple different options. Stam users, Hunting Rage. It's a staple in ESO, been around forever. It's a solid set for damage dealers, stamina. Magic, just what I'm wearing. Julianos, 5-piece, basically the opposite of Hunting's Rage. And you can also take it a step further by some Trials gear. Not everyone's going to have access to this, but Vicious Ophidian reduces the cost of your stamina abilities, and when you kill something, you gain stamina and major expedition. So if you pair Hunting's Rage with this, you're going to be doing very well. The Magicka version is called False Gods, so you can get that as well. So there's both 2 options you can do for magic and stam. All around set I've ran forever when I'm leveling is Willow's Path. Just increases tons of regeneration. So if you don't know what to do, you're really struggling with sustain, I just go with this. Magic users can run Seducers or something else like that, but there is so much variety in resource sustain sets, especially in Overland and crafting, so don't limit yourself to just a couple. These are what I've used before, but there's a lot of options available. Speaking of sustain, Champion Point System and the Finesse Tree has another option available to you to really help you grind away, and that's coming over here, Hero's Vigor 2, Bloody Renewal, or Siphoning Spell. Restore 300 max magic per kill, or 300 stamina per kill. So I would get one of those 2 based on your class and playstyle, and I would slot that, because you combine that with some gear, with the potions, you're going to be ripping through this stuff and not going out of magic or out of stamina. Next up is skills. So basic Elder Scrolls Online stuff in case you are newer viewers and don't know. Magic and Stamina have 2 AoEs outside of the class kit. So some classes really favor area damage, some classes not so much. So if you're a magic user, don't know where to go, you can go to Destruction Staff, and the very last ability here, Pulsar, does really well. So it centers around you and you can spam it. But the second ability, Unstable Wall of Elements, puts down a layer of magic damage and just nuke stuff. Stamina, that's good old Steel Tornado, spin to win. Massive area, deals a lot of physical damage to nearby enemies, and it's circular, it's in a radius, so you can really clear a lot of trash quickly by using Steel Tornado or Pulsar and or Elemental Blockade. Now, how do you sustain yourself? Well, everyone has access to soul magic right away, and this skill right here, Consuming Trap, has been radically changed. Fantastic. If you apply this to someone using magic, you restore a lot of magic and stamina. The key here is this portion of ability scales off your max stat, health, magic, or stamina. So regardless if you're playing tank, healer, DPS, or whatever you're doing, the game automatically knows what your highest stat is, what you should be using for damage essentially. So if you're a stam user, you got max stamina higher than magic, bang, it fills stamina. Vice versa with health and magic as well. And you get access to it right away. Slot that on your bar, get it morphed, get it fully leveled up, and put it in your back bar, and this thing becomes a juggernaut for sustain, regardless of the gear sets and choices that you have. Another tip I want to share with you after reaching endgame a million times is level and slot random skills and abilities and skill lines. Meaning, if you're a magic user and you have no intention of playing stamina, but all of your classes leveled, all of your classes maxed out, all of the morphs are done, try to grab 2H or these weird other ones, like even Undaunted, Soul Magic, Fighters Guild, anything you can think of, slot on your bar. Even if you're using a Restoration Staff or a Destruction Staff, if you slot a two-handed ability right here, guess what? It'll still level up. It doesn't matter if you have a two-hander equipped or not. The game will register the experience game based on if it's slotted on your bar. So if you're grinding away, you have the extra bar space, you might as well level all these abilities and skills, because you never know when you're going to race change, you're going to play a different play style, and you don't want to go back to leveling and grinding skills. And then you saw a weird skill that I was using that can really speed things up, which is Silver Leash. Stam-based ability, but it pulls people in. So at least you have rely on Dragonites to do this. We're pretty much the only ones that can do this. But now you can get it, and it's pretty early in the Fighters Guild. So if you're grinding zombies and zones anyways, guess what? You can slot this puppy and get to leashing people in. Speaking of grinding zombies, let me show you some of my favorite grinding spots and explain the difference between them. Okay, so next up we have grinding spots, and there's two different types, instance-based and open world. So Skyreach Catacomb is one that's instance-based. I'm going to show you another one here in a minute that's another instance-based one, and the advantage of that is it's only you and your group mate or partner that go in there that share the space. So no one can come and steal this from you as long as they're outside of your party. Some of them are very lucrative. You can reset them quite easily by toggling veteran to normal or normal to veteran and vice versa, and getting the reset instance right away. Huge advantage being able to do it when you want with who you want and not have to worry about the grind spots. But there are other grind spots, open world, and these are actually in the base game. They're in every single zone and they're fantastic. I have an old video on it for grinding a million different spots, but let me show you a couple that I like. Aldemary Dominion, go to Green Shade. There's one down here, Shadows Crawl. You go southwest of here. The reason this is nice is it has a good loop, there's a merchant, and there's a way shrine here. There's a really nice one up here, Vermont, but guess what? It's always taken between that and the other ones in the area. So I like some of the off-beaten path ones where people aren't going to interrupt me if I'm not able to do an instance-based one. Daggerfall Covenant, one that's been around forever, is Alakir. There's a whole bunch of different loops you can do. There's one along the beach I really like. There's one down over here by this way shrine as well. Issue is, there's probably a lot of people that know about it and will be grinding there. And then Ebonheart Pact, we have East March. I spent a good portion of my life sitting here grinding up VR ranks and Woodstar or whatnot. So there's a really nice loop. It's zombie, so you're going to level Fighters Guild. It's quick. The way shrine's real quick here too, so you can go back and sell stuff, because this can be quite lucrative in terms of experience gain, but also selling stuff. So these are 3 basic grind spots, but they're everywhere, gang. But speaking of everywhere, let me show you a new one I found out that's yielding about 3.5 million experience points an hour. That's normal Black Rose Prison. What you're going to do is grab a buddy and go to the Black Rose Prison in Workmire, bottom right of the map. Make sure to set the dungeon to normal as it makes it a lot easier. What you're going to do is very simple. You're going to do the first 4 rounds of the very first stage of the dungeon. Once you reach the boss round, it'll spawn up a big health bar at the top. You're going to reset. Keep in mind that you're going to get experience points from the archers, the mages, and the two-handers. You're not going to get it from the flame atronachs. So what you're trying to do is tether everyone in, get them, dunk on them, and then kill those guys as fast as you can, reset the dungeon, go right back in. We weren't fully optimized, but we were getting around 3.5 to 3.6 million experience points per hour. If you want a deeper dive in how to do this grind the best optimal way, leave me a comment, like the video. If I get enough of them, I'll do it because, hey, double XP is right around the corner. Let's get to grinding. Thanks so much for watching.